Siegfried, nurse practitioner from Loveland Medical Clinic. I thought I'd shoot a video on a tool that I really like. It's called Cronometer. Um, I really like these programs because studies have shown that people that actually record and keep track of their diet do much better. And this is a free program. I believe it was designed by Mercola.com. You do not need to upgrade and get the gold version. The free version does just well. And this is why I like it. I use a Fitbit. I really do like a Fitbit. It keeps track of how many steps I do in a day. This thing is integrated with that and automatically uploads your activity for the day. So in my case, I had 323 minutes of activity, which basically is mostly walking. And then it figures out based on your height, weight, and age how many calories you burned doing that activity, which in my case was 908 calories. It also figures out your basic metabolic rate, which is really nice. And that, of course, it's figured out just from your profile, which you do when you first sign into this program. You come in here, put your birth date or age, height, weight, gender, and then it figures out your basic metabolic rate for you. So in my case, I burn 1,572 kilocalories a day just from doing nothing, just from breathing. Okay, it allows you to set goals in here. Another nice thing, it also allows you to set what kind of diet you actually are on. In my case, I'm on a high-fat ketogenic diet, so it puts it in there. So when the program is calculating things out later on, it takes all this stuff into account. It's a really, really smart program. So going back to the diary, um, the other thing I like about the Fitbit is that it tells you how many hours of sleep you've had per night. Now, sleep is really important for weight loss because if you aren't getting enough sleep, it's one of the major blocks to you losing weight. Okay, so in my case, I got 7.5 hours of sleep, which is pretty good for me. And then, of course, you can add all the food in that you ate through the day and your other biometrics, such as in my case, my glucose was 67 at 1500. And you can add your biometrics in either by going to add biometric, and you have a choice of weight, height, pulse, blood pressure, glucose, ketones, which I check every so often. You can put your blood levels of cholesterol in there. It's really a good program. I tend to like using notes. So I'll go to note and I'll write down glucose 67 at 1500, because then I'll also say that today I did a high intensity interval training and I can add little stuff to it. So that's why I tend to use the notes instead of the biometric. But it's good to put stuff into the biometric once in a while because this program will create charts for you, which is really useful. The other thing I like about it, so this is a quick eyeball thing right here. So if you hover over it, you can tell that for the whole day, the percentage of fat, the calories from fat that I had that day was 77%, which is exactly where I need to be. Protein was at 7%, carbs at 9%, and then of course alcohol, which is not very ketogenic, but I do like to have my glass of wine. And of course, up here you can go to add food, and then you can put in wine. For example, let's look up wine. Alcoholic beverage, wine, Cabernet Sauvignon. So you could actually click that and it would add it to your menu here. And you can also add recipes, which is really nice because some things people tend to eat quite frequently. For example, I tend to take the same vitamins daily. So here I have my daily vitamin recipe that I've created. And if you look at it, you'll see there's omega-3 fish oil, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and magnesium. And that's my vitamin recipe. So on a day when I'm actually just putting stuff into my diary, all I have to do is go here, add food, and just click daily vitamins, and all that pops in right away. Let's do one more example here. Cowboy coffee. So my cowboy coffee tells you 3 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbs, and 37 grams of lipids. So you can see that that's mostly fat. The other thing I like about it is this little round circle thing here. If you hover over it, it tells you it's 95% lipids. And then you hover over here, it's basically 3% protein from there, and then 1% carbs. And that's my cowboy coffee. And the reason I like the cowboy coffee is because it gives me about 600 calories per day of fat, so it gives me a good head start. One of the hardest things in a ketogenic diet to do actually is get enough fat. Believe it or not, getting fat is pretty tough. So what are the features we have here? So here I can just hover over basic metabolic rate. It tells you my rate is 1539, and that's if I'm just breathing and doing nothing else. And if you go further down here, it breaks down your ratios, the important ratios that you need to know about. The important one for me is omega-6 to omega-3. That ratio really ideally should be 1 to 1. In this case, I'm 2.5 to 1, which is pretty close. Considering that the standard American diet, the ratio is about anywhere from 16 to 1 to 25 to 1, which is one of the reasons we do have so much chronic disease in our country. And then it breaks down other nutrients like, how much vitamins do you get during the day, carbs, lipids, protein, minerals. It's just a really good all-around program. And the more you play around with it, or the more I've played around it, the more I've realized it has even more than I thought was involved with it. So if you are starting a weight loss program and you do want to keep track of what you're eating, this is a really useful program. And like I said, study after study has shown that if you keep track of your diet when you're trying to lose weight, you will be more successful than the person who doesn't. Okay, so this is Siegfried from the 22-day weight loss program, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.